lead your section.
Yo, what it do? Let's get into it.
Dripment is reloaded. I don't like you. I got a question for you. What's that?
You know what it is. I am so happy to be back. Last Lands was amazing. I saw Sisto and Jaquie go back to back, and the mosh pits were insane. The mosh pits in general were insane there. My favorite sets were Ella's Dream and Ace Aura, by the way. They took me out of this world. And I have so many things planned, so many fun things. But today is Sisto Day. How does Sisto? I'm going to show you how to make his basses, his sub, his vocals, and also an extra hidden saw noise bass. This is the bass rack. Let's listen to that soloed real quick. I'm going to turn on the sub as well so you can listen to what it sounds like with the sub. When I was looking up and trying to learn how to Sisto, it was actually fairly easy because he uploaded a lot of videos showing how he makes his sounds. There's a lot of different things. I gathered all my favorite tips and tricks from his videos, put them all in one video to try to make it easy for all of us to learn. There are some big takeaways that I got from watching his videos. Basically, he's making all of his basses using audio. He will usually make like a serum patch and then resample it to audio, or he'll use like vocals that he recorded himself or vocals that he found, and then use transposition in texture warp mode and make the basses. He does that while, of course, making a sick post-processing rack. Now, the rack that he's going to be using will be explained here shortly, but just keep in mind he's using heavy amounts of disperser. So you should get that. It's used a lot in dubstep to begin with. He also uses vocoder a lot, transient shaper, frequency shifter, OTT, and saturation to make things loud, and a lot of comb filters to make things really sick and metallic-y. He uses the Valhalla room reverb a lot, and his favorite sub is the Analog BD SIne in Serum. We're going to be using these things, and frequency shifter, for example, will be used a lot throughout multiple tracks so that we can make things sound really fat and heavy and make nice one-shots. This first track here starts off with a bass that's going to be washed out. So bass clef washout is used a lot by him, and it's used to just add cool effect in certain fills and prominent sections. This is the downbeat, beginning of the drop. If this was turned off, that's the bass. When I watched the videos, I went ahead and made this first. So this is the post-processing rack, what we start with. All right, cool. And then if we go ahead and turn off all these post-processing effects, you'll see this is just regular vocal of me. 24 karat. So 20 carats, 24 karat. I have regular vocals, and then I have like me beatboxing. Do not. So I mix those up. We'll go ahead and go one by one. We'll add the OTT first, and we'll actually make it loud. Whenever you add an OTT, make sure you turn the output up right away. This is at 11.
Do not.
Makes it really loud. We add the disperser. This is going to add like a cool lasery phase shifting sound.
Do not. Do not.
We add a shifter. We use the fine knob in freak mode, and this is going to be used a lot too.
Do not. Do not.
Add a gate.
Do not.
This will clean it up, remove any extra noise or tails at the end.
Do not.
There's vocoders and modulator. This is also used very frequently. The depth knob and the formant knob are the knobs that are used the most. Depth is turned up, and this formant is turned up as well.
Do not. do not,
Makes it sound robotic, right?
do not,
Add more dispersion.
do not, do not,
Pinch is turned up. You can choose any of the notes in your scale, right? So I chose A, which is also in D minor.
do not,
Add more disperser.
do not, do not,
Add an EQ8, cutting the lows and taking out some of these highs.
do not,
Transient shaper. Attack up at 50. Up is up at 10.
do not, do not,
This is making it a sharp sound, sharp attack. Add this phaser to add more movement.
do not, do not, do not,
Grain delay. With the grain delay, you're going to be using it in delay time. Time is turned on. We're going low in the time to 22.8 milliseconds. This makes it like more of a metallic-y. The frequency can be moved around. He likes to do top right a lot, but he also used it at 5.6 in this section. This pitch is barely moved at 0.38, but you can automate this in different sections to add different variations in like a bass lead, for example. This dry and wet is at 66%.
do not, do not, do not,
We're adding another delay by kilohertz. This is on milliseconds. It's at 19 milliseconds, so it's very low. And this is what adds a huge metallic sound.
do not, do not, do not,
Now we need to turn it up. So 9 decibels of saturation.
do not,
We add the camel crusher, which he's going to be using a lot.
do not, do not, do not,
This is on Annihilate. My camel crusher doesn't really work, so I can only use these. But this adds a lot of gain, a lot of saturation,
do not,
and distortion too.
do not,
Add another gate. This gate is going to clean it up as well. And then this EQ8, cutting the lows at 100. Huge dip here at 4.5 thousand. Q is at 0.23.
do not, do not, do not,
Cool. So this is the rack. It's the original rack. Now I duplicated this, and then we got here to the Sisto rack. And what I did was I went ahead and just take little chops of the vocal. So I'll listen, stuff like that. And I'll find cool sounds. And then I'll grab one of the sounds and put it right here. Now, with this sound, with this rack, we added some extra stuff. So after the EQ8, we added another OTT to make it loud at 11 decibels. Some more saturation at 2 decibels. Another EQ8 to start cleaning it up a little bit more. Another transient shaper. Tack up, pump up. This is to make all the hits sound really nice and clean and clear. And then lastly, we add the reverb and the clipper. So this is a hybrid reverb. The hybrid reverb is at 90% stereo, 16% dry and wet. Very sensitive knob here. It's on convolution, very important. The K is low at 630. And this is on made for drums, large gated snare. This is going to add width and reverb, very important for our bass sound. And the JST clip is going to clip it at 0. The most important thing that Sisto is going to be doing when making his basses and his bass leads is transposing in texture mode. When you're in texture mode and you move the pitch, you can make cool sounds, and you can really just go up and down however you like and go by ear. You don't really have to try to stay in key. You can just have fun and make cool basses. So this sound can also be this sound or this. You basically pick your favorite. I picked there. And then when you start chopping up sounds, you can make more different basses. So like this is chopped in half. And then this one is stretched. So if you get this sound in texture and you hold shift and grab the top right, you can actually shift it, time stretch it. And when you time stretch it, you can make more basses. You can do the same thing by hitting divided by 2 or times 2, but this is a lot funner. You'll be doing that as well. And of course, changing the pitches, making different basses throughout the song. I color different basses here because these are different sections. I'll pick a section if I like it. I'll commit to it, color it differently. This is -22 pitch. Mostly everything's warped in texture. to make these different sounds. It's fun to experiment and not have to, you know, really stick to Serum patches and have fun in audio. It's really what Marte and Sisto does. Probably a lot of these producers are doing this because it's a easy workflow. This is a different sound. This one's the same sound but chopped up a little bit differently. Like that sound is this. If I wanted to make it different, I could just go texture, change the grain to whatever, change the pitch to whatever. Make cool new sounds. That's how fast you would do it, just like that, and then move them around. The song arrangement, the way I did this took a long time, so I did make a from scratch video. If you want to see how I did everything from scratch, you'll see it takes some time to get this song arrangement and composition, but over time you'll be able to find cool rhythms and phrasing that makes you want to dance and adds movement. Check out this, like quarter note flow. And then in certain sections, so like when the drop really hits here, it didn't have this bass and it sounded very empty. And then I added it and it filled out a lot of the space. So let's listen here. So now if we listen, that's off, this is on. It's like almost like a frog croak. And this is going to fill out a lot of space when the drop hits. This, of course, is just one of the vocals grabbed right here, just in a different track. Texture, pitched at -19. Same post-processing. And that's how we just add and make new basses. We'll even have little bleeps and bloops. One shots. And these will be going throughout, like supporting basses. Even made some little sussies. So that's the bass rack. Very fun. You'll see I have another layer right here. It's very quiet. It's in the background. It's just a wide layer. I duplicated, you know, the Sisto rack layer here. And then I just added a mid-side EQ. The mid frequencies are turned all the way down. Side is the only thing that's playing. This is just making it a little bit louder. It's at -16, so it's blended in. Sick. So now these basses are cool, right? But they really are only hard when you have the sub playing with it. The sub is basically doing the heavy lifting. It's real important that we get the sub on point. And luckily, Sisto showed us how he made a sub. Oh, let's get into it. Two different subs here. We have a pitch bend sub and a short sub. This is the pitch bend sub. Love this one. And then this is the short sub. So we can use this sub to match fast basses, to actually automate the rhythm and make it go at faster speeds. You'll see I automated it in this section and it's at a triplet flow. So the first bass is the most important one, I think. In Serum, it's Analog BD SIne. We turn up the wave position all the way. Levels turned all the way down. We put the LFO1 on the level and turn it all the way up. This is at trigger. This one's at a bar. We make this ramp. If you see here, no effects. Very simple patch for the sub. The pitch bend is only at 2, by the way. Pitch bend range up 2. This EQ weight is going to be cut down at 27.2 hertz, also cut at 182 hertz. We're only going to be letting these low frequencies play because these are the frequencies we want to post-process We don't want to post-process any other frequencies. Make sure you hit configure, you hit this pitch bend knob, and that will allow you to automate this pitch bend. When we automate the pitch bend, you'll see here, this is half of a bar clip. It's going to go regular, and then it'll pitch bend up all the way and go back down. And that's what makes this sub move. Very fun. Very, very nice. All right, so let's turn off all the effects, and you can hear what the sub sounds like. This is it regular. Very weak, not loud enough. So we add the saturation, 17 decibels, make it loud. We add a camel crusher on tube warmth, and we make it super loud. Now it's aggressive, dirty, it's too much right now. But we add a utility, turn the width all the way down, make it mono. Ensure it's mono. Then we use this EQ8, and we do a low pass, cut it at 80, and we really make sure we take out all those ugly frequencies and only let the clean sub play. The sub is now really loud because of the saturation and clean because of the EQ. This is the trick you want to do. This is very important. Keep in mind this is at -3 on the track. And in my lows bus, it's also -3. So we're turning down the sub even more before we send it to the master. It's a super loud sub. Now the Sisto short sub is very similar. Basically the same thing, but we're going to automate the rate. So hit configure, make sure you get the rate right here so that you can start automating it. And then this time, the last EQ8, we're not going to cut it at 100 hertz. We're going to cut it at 250 hertz and let more of the higher frequencies and the upper harmonics play with this sub so that it can sound more full and have more body. Very nice sub here. Both of these subs, these will be in the Patreon if you need easy access. Otherwise, you can go ahead and make it here. Very nice, very fun. Next thing is the saw noise. So when everything is playing, we want to fill out more of the frequency spectrum to make things sound full. So what we do is use the saw noise. All it is saw on basic shapes, LFO on the level of the noise as well. And then in harmonics 9 is the white noise. Pitches up a little bit. We're going to make this ramp 1/4 rate. This will keep our rhythm, the rhythm of 1/4 note. And this will be playing, but you can barely even tell it's there. It's in the background at -13, but it's still going to be filling out needed space. Like you. This noise sound has an OTT at 12 decibels, EQ8, only letting the highs go through, cutting it at 167. Saturation is making it loud at 8.5 decibels. And this hiss is on SIne to add some extra higher frequencies. So this is a nice layer here for the drop. Like you. Sick. So now that we have all the subs and the bass leads, we can get into the vocal. This is my favorite part. This thing is fun. So I made the pre-drop right here, and we also recorded some extra vocals in here.
Dripment is reloaded.
That's the pre-drop.
Dripment is reloaded.
If we turn off the rack,
Dripment is reloaded.
that's dry. All right, so we'll turn off this delay for now. We can go ahead and get this.
Dripment is reloaded.
So when I record these, I will do different voices and stuff. I kind of like did a little accent right here. I don't even know. And I don't really plan on what I'm going to say. It just comes to my head and comes flow. This one right here.
I got a question for you.
I pitch it down -4.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
And when I speak it, I'm like speaking like, I got a question, like pretty low. Like I'm changing my voice. And then I'll pitch it down even more.
I got a question for you.
That's how we get like dope vocals. So this rack, I'll turn off everything for now. First, we add a utility and we make it a little bit louder with 3 decibels of gain.
Dripment is reloaded. Dripment.
We add the gate to clean it up. This cleans up noise and tails. Just move the threshold.
Dripment is reloaded.
That's at -33. We add the saturator to make it loud at 2 decibels.
Dripment is reloaded.
Add an OTT.
Dripment is reloaded.
I don't change the settings at all. The X for OTT.
Dripment is reloaded.
Add a disperser, naturally.
Dripment is reloaded.
Add an OTT to make it loud, 7 decibels.
Dripment is reloaded.
And 45% dry wet. Saturation, 2 decibels.
Dripment is reloaded.
Just keep on making it louder. Then we clean it up more with the gate, -24 threshold.
Dripment is reloaded.
Then we get the hybrid reverb. Convolution mode, 18% dry wet.
Dripment is reloaded.
Get an EQ to start cleaning it up. We make a dip at 211 hertz to remove these frequencies. And that's cleaning up the mud. And then we turn up the higher frequencies with the shelf. And that's just making it a little bit louder in the important frequencies for the vocal.
Dripment is reloaded.
And then we have this delay.
Dripment is reloaded.
Just to add a nice little tail. And then this delay right here, we automate on and off. So it only turns on at this syllable, this word, drip. It's like a slow delay so that it fills up space in this cool section. That's really fun. And then, of course, I'll just record me saying other stuff. I want to show you how easy it is to record the vocals. So we'll change the buffer size. 128 samples is very low, so it'll allow us to record without having any weird latency, which is delay while we're recording. And then we can go ahead and find something cool.
So right away, that sounds cool. I'm like, yeah, I like that. So it becomes fun to record right away. We'll use this section. I got a question for you. So I'll mute it, move it, and I'll record here. I could just say anything. Who knows? We'll see. Why are you doing that, man? Why are you doing that, man? So just like that,
We can get something easy. So I can change it to complex and pitch it down like -4.
why are you doing that, man? Why are you doing that, man?
And that quickly, we have sick, deep, dark vocals for dubstep. So much fun. Let's go ahead and listen to the full thing. Check it out.
Introducing the one, the only. Drip. He's gonna fuck you up. Reload. Come back. Get ready. Release. Dripment is reloaded. Oh, fuck off. I don't like you. Why are you doing that, man? What's that?
Whoa! That was sick. I hope you guys enjoy this, man. This is so much fun. I'm so glad to be back and teaching you guys. Remember, I do private lessons, so if you want one-on-one help, I can do that for you. Everything in here is going to be on my Patreon. This full project will be available for you guys if you want to have fun. I will eventually be releasing this full song. For now, you can learn a lot of the build-up stuff and the drums and stuff were also learned from his videos, Sisto's videos. So you can go ahead and check that out too with the full project. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys are fresh. Keep it real. Have a good night. Peace out.